Well, good morning, my friends. It's your old pal Jordan the Lion. How are all of you doing today? I hope you said well. I'm going to try and make the best of today as well. Well, what I want to do today, though, is hop in the car, head down to Scottsdale, and I want to start in a park down there that has a statue of someone really well known. You may not even know his name, but I think when you see the statue, you'll recognize who he was and what he did. Then we're going to head off, see his house, hopefully go to his grave, and we're going to start out the day by taking Jaw for a little walk. So come along with me. Daze with Jordan the Lion begins now. Do some hopscotch here, Jaw. Isn't that great to have out in front of your house? It's amazing. All right, let's go do some vlogging. Let's head out to Scottsdale. All right, things are getting much more scenic and beautiful, so you know we've made it to Scottsdale. All right, it looks like we are in luck. I thought this looked like an outdoor railroad park online, and it certainly is, meaning that I don't think we have to pay any admission. I think we can just walk around it, and the statue I wanted to share with you guys is actually located inside this. This is called the McCormick Stillman Railroad Park. So take a look. They've put all these old Paradise and Pacific railroad cars kind of right in the center of town and turned it into a park. So looks like normally the doors would be open and you can wander through these. Of course, with what's going on, none of it's open, but we're still going to explore the park. The architecture out here is amazing. Take a look at this. Here we have a little memorial to Anne McCormick and Fowler McCormick. Take a look at this. They have a little placard on the other side we'll go take a look at. Oh, this is interesting. I've never heard of this. It says a gift of friendship. This boxcar is one of 49 that comprised the French gratitude train, once filled with 250 tons of gifts. The gratitude train was a way for the people of France to say thank you to the American people for their help during and after World War II. More than 6 million French families contributed gifts of their own possessions to help fill the cars, which were distributed to each state of the Union after the arrival in the United States in 1949. Wow, that's really cool. I did not know we were going to see that coming here. That is wonderful. So I saw a dedication of the statue that we're looking for, but no mention of where it's at in this park other than the son of the man who it's dedicated to requested that it be put here. They wanted to honor his father, and he was trying to think of the best way to do it, and so they had a very hands-on approach to this. Oh, I love that. Isn't that great? They of course have tape across the entire playland, but I don't think the statue's in the playland. So this statue should be really amazing, actually, because I know that the family, I found an interview where they said they really scrutinized it hard. They got the best people in town to create this. I think the man who created the Barry Goldwater statue helped create this, and the son, the youngest son of the man who it's dedicated to, said that, you know, we would go as far as to like, hey, can you make him smirk a little bit more? Can you change the wince in his eye? Can you make him do this, do that? I mean, they were really scrutinized it. This is a big area. Surprisingly, they did not put tape around the picnic tables. Little kids train. Oh, that's kind of cool. Little photo op there. Carousel is not operating, but they haven't been able to close it either, so I've seen some kids going up there and sitting on it. Here's a placard for Blue Star Memorial, a tribute to the armed forces that have defended the United States of America. What we're looking for is right over in here. Well, this is a statue to Bil Keane, and behind us there's actually a woman doing a tarot card reading over her computer. So we're going to take a look at Bil Keane here with his lovable family circus figures from his newspaper comic strip. He's been doing that, well, he did it. The comic strip's been around since the 60s.
So I'm going to tie back to, you also got giveaway addictions.
Now once he retired, his son, Jeff, took over, and the family circus still continues on to this day. There's Bill. Great look on his face, and look at the kids. And apparently the kids are based off of his own kids. Very wholesome comic strip, just kind of talking about wholesome daily life. Then here's a plaque, and the piece of art is called Giddy Up Daddy, dedicated to Bil Keane, creator of the family circus. If there's a philosophy behind the feature, if this is a home filled with love and laughter, is the happiest place in the world. On permanent loan from the town of Paradise Valley, where the Keanes lived for more than 50 years. So I feel like we should go see where he lived, where he created that cartoon for so long.
But they're saying surrender that control and let go, but I'm getting let go is more, again, your family. You got the autumn card, and that's the abundance card, okay? So they're saying your abundance is coming. Yeah, it is. So,
Pretty cool place. Don't even have to pay an admission to come hang out during all this. It does appear that it's worth coming back out to revisit when it opens back up again, because it looks like they have a little train that takes you around. It's part of the experience. Yep, we'll just have to come back. There are the Camelback Mountains, which is why he wanted to buy the house that he lived in here. So this property over here didn't originally start out as big as it is now. It's been added on to over the years by Bil Keane. But this is the house he started doing. Well, he did a syndicated column or a syndicated strip called Channel Chuckles. That lasted till 1973, but while he was doing that, he also started doing the family circus. He started that in 1960, and he bought this house in 1960. Now, he said that he originally only wanted to pay $25,000 to $30,000 for a house at the time that they were looking, but this one was $47,000, so he ended up having to take out 2 mortgages to afford it, but was definitely worth it because it was his study here, his little den where he would work on the syndicated strip. He passed away in 2011 actually at this house, but he was doing the strip from 1960 on, and he was creating every one of them here, and his family was raised and had all of their moments in the living room here. So that's how important this house was to the history of the strip. Now, he was also the head of the Cartoon Society for like 16 years, or no, for like 3 years, but he was the MC for their gala for like 16 years, and one of the years in the mid-90s he hosted a big party here for like 400 famous cartoonists that were at the convention, and his best friend was, or one of his best friends was actually Charles Schulz from Peanuts. But he was also great friends with Irma Bombeck and hosted a party for her here, was in fact one of her pallbearers, and she's laid to rest in Dayton, Ohio. But what a historic house. He said that all of his great family moments that he would write about in that 6-day-a-week strip would all originate from ideas here. The family would live and be raised here. And then, like I said, his wife, I think it was like in 2005, was developing Alzheimer's and had to go live in an assisted living facility. But he continued to live here until his death in 2011. And even on the mailbox, they have his name. How cool is that? It will always be his house. Now, he said originally this just had a few rooms and they just kept adding and adding and adding to it, and they were so poor when they moved in, they were using old lawn furniture that they would eventually replace. And he said they added an outdoor kind of deck area and also tennis courts, and you can actually see the tennis courts right over through here. So now let's go see where Bil Keane and his wife are buried. So I read a little interview with Bil Keane in about 2006, and he said up to that point, the entire inside of the house hadn't been changed or redecorated, so it still was trapped in the 60s, which, you know, in early 2000s, even now, that would be sought after, kind of in style now, again. All right, off to Holy Redeemer Cemetery. It's about a half hour away. All right, we have finally made it. I don't know exactly where they're buried, but I know it's a pretty big crypt, so should be able to find it. Oh, that's neat. Pope John Paul II garden. Big cross out there. Well, this is a really beautiful cemetery, and it did not take too awful long to find Bill and Thelma, because they're literally right here. You can see as you walk over here, right on the side of the tomb, of the crypt, it says Keane, and you can see the circle of life continues eternally. And then there is Bil Keane and Thel Keane. Bill was actually in the military from 1942 to 1945, and he met Thel when he was stationed over there, I believe in Queensland, and then they were married in Brisbane and then moved over to Philadelphia or Pennsylvania area once he got out. But he was doing comic strips even in the military for Yank, and then eventually came out and started doing local strips, and then got picked up for that syndicated strip, Channel Chuckles, which he did, I think it was from 1954 on to the 70s. But boy, his whole life became Family Circus. And there you can see at the very bottom, he's noted all of his kids. It says parents of Gail, Neil, Glenn, Chris, and Jeff. And I believe Glenn is an animator for Disney, and Jeff is the one that took over for Bill doing the daily strip. And there they are, Billy, Dolly, Jeffy, and PJ, the little kids that Bill would write about every day, along with their kitty cat, named Kitty Cat, and their dogs Barfy and Sam. Pretty easy to find them. There's three main giant ones right here as you're coming around, and they're the very first one right there. You can see that Thelma, or Thel, passed away in 2008. And Bill passed away in 2011, passed away of congestive heart failure. And you'd have to think, with the house being trapped in time the way Bill described it in the article that I read, where he said literally like the couch that was in the living room was the same couch that the kids would play on growing up, you'd have to hope that the family still has possession of the house and that someone in the family still lives there. I hope so anyway. If you think about it, you know, a lot of people maybe now aren't as dedicated to reading the newspaper as maybe they once were, but there was a time where every person had the newspaper delivered to their house and read it with their morning breakfast, their morning coffee. And so to think of that and think of how many homes he was in, syndicated in like 150 newspapers, pretty amazing. Okay. Alright my friends, I hope you enjoyed that vlog today. That was a lot of fun for me. Just getting to explore the family circus and getting to see where Bill lived and where he's memorialized and now where he rests. Really cool, fun vlog for me. I hope you guys enjoyed that as well. And I hope you enjoyed checking out that train park. That was pretty great too. I want to thank John McDonald, Lisa Lee Handloser, Molly Santina, Jennifer Isham, for all becoming Patreons. Thank you very much. And thank you all for watching. We'll see you all very soon. Have a great night and goodbye.